picture, and he wouldn't see them. And every day I had to meet with these cats and just lie, and it was so distasteful. I wrote him a memo because it just got to me, And in the memo it said, Reverend, you this was 1975 now, you are considered by many to be the new Martin Luther King. You are on television, you have great gifts, you raise money, you're in the media, you know people, you know how to do stuff. And I keep having to meet with people to explain to them that you don't have any time at all. Especially the young guys who want big name preachers. So I said, here's what I propose. I put this in there. I propose you give me 8 days a year on your calendar. Just reserve 8 days, 2 days per quarter, Friday night, Saturday kind of thing. And what I will do is I will tell all of the people that I have to say you don't have time for them, come meet Reverend Jackson this Friday. And then what I'd like you to do during that time period is teach them everything you know on a certain subject. So 2 days would be devoted to raising money. And any young leaders that want to learn how to raise money, come spend 2 days with Mr. Jackson, he'll teach you. Then 2 days, next quarter could be on media, how to do a press conference and organize it. And then at the end of the memo, I said, now, by the way, if you do this 2 days a quarter, 8 days a year for 10 years, in 10 years, you could run for president and have a network of young leaders around the country that can make that happen. This was 1975. He thought the memo was so ridiculous. He gave me the original copy back. He didn't keep it. And in that suitcase with all of those old papers that I had from the 70s, I saw that memo.
Wow.
This was 2 years ago. When I saw that memo, it occurred to me this was 2015. I wrote the memo in 1975. Webster gets these direct words from God. I'm not that deep.
Yes, he does.
I went to Princeton. I dealt with exegesis and all that. But every now and then, I hear, and the Lord spoke to me clearly and said, "You thought you wrote that memo to Jesse Jackson, but I had you write that memo to you."
Wow.
And ever since that day, I've taken 2 days out of every quarter to spend time. I've got a standard group, but I've expanded it. I've tried to spend as much time as I could to make sure that I'm not guilty of telling folks, if you need me, call me. The next time they hear from me, I'm dead. So that's the spirit of why we're here. I'm not here to give you a lecture. I don't have a PowerPoint. I don't need any money, so I don't need you to write me a check or give me a seed offering or whatever y'all call it. I'm not campaigning for anything. I'm fine. My church is not in trouble. My family's fine. My staff is happy. So, I'm happy. I'm here because I promised God that I would share as much as I could, as often as I could, so that there may be one thing that I've experienced or one thing that you need help with. So that's why I'm here. Tonight we're going to have a concert, basically, to worship and celebrate the power of God and the testimonies of how God has brought people out using biblical, culturally relevant strategies for financial freedom. Fred's coming. When I met Fred, I was Fred's manager. Fred was broke. When commission was at its peak, they asked me to take over their career. All 6 of the members of commission had made less money the year before than I did. All 6 of them. Just broke, bad contracts and the like. So Fred's coming. Fred's testimony is going to be as powerful as his music. And then we've got Prudential coming to offer the kind of support that they offer when I go places. Tomorrow we've got great speakers. But I want to come in a little early to spend time with one person or 20 people who are doing what I've been doing for the last 42 years, and there may be something that I can say or some resource that I have access to that would be helpful. All right? So if you could just introduce yourself, tell me where you're serving and how the next hour or so could be of value to you, and then we'll get going. Michelle, do some water.
I'm Jeffrey Johnson. I'm pastor at Eastern Star Church for the last 29 years. And I know several years ago you made a culture change at your church that we're in the third year of training. I didn't know it took this many years to change it. I want to get a feel for
changing culture.
Yeah.
How old is
debt-free mentality.
How old is this church?
97.
Yeah. Okay, got it. It's a blessing and a curse. Wow.
Yes.
All right. Some of these young cats that go out and start these churches, I don't have that spirit, but there's so much about that I envy, really, because they don't have all of that history and grandmas and pew and all that. But there are also some deep deficits in many of those ministries that I've noticed. God knows where to send us, that's for sure. Darryl, how can this hour, we talk all the time. But
yeah, we talk all the time, but again, for me is, and you've done this very well, with broadening, not only is your church known as a powerful church to meet the needs of people in-house, a little bit about continuously broadening that influence with the economic development. Dr. Sories has developed probably 7 miles or so around this church, and I'm still working hard at that. That's where I am now.
Okay. Is the housing piece still in formation, or?
We're still at the table talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Multiple family, single family, or multi-family?
More or less, have homes for families and units for singles. Senior citizens.
Got it. Yeah.
My name is Minister Henry Mosley. I worship here under Pastor Jeffrey Johnson. And in my 30s, I was in debt. My 40s, I was out of debt. In 50s, I was out of debt. But as I approached my 60s, I got back in debt. I'm in debt right now. And I'm troubled by the spot that the consistency. You talk about time and money. I've made money, I spent money. I've made money, I spent money. And the thing is, the discipline. And I've got your resources. I'm looking at them. And it's interesting, you mentioned something about time and money again. As I kind of begin my 60s, I'm thinking, do I have enough time?
Yeah.
And so I'm here about the time piece.
Yeah.
More so than the money piece. Do I have time?
Yeah. Remind me to talk about the boards that I sit on. All right. But we have a special, what we're doing now with D3, we have a book and workbook, you know that. But now, as you know, and as you just said, when you're 27, Michelle's 27, Martin's 27, we just opened up their first investment accounts, right? So for them, that makes all the sense in the world, because if they put $150 a month aside from what I pay them, when they're our age, they're going to be in a different position than we are. But if we're our age, there's a different strategy. So what we've done is we've taken these principles that we've been teaching and refining, and we're now adapting them to specific demographics. So we have a D3 for seniors coming out, D3 for young people, D3 for people coming out of prison. And I just, they're waiting for me to approve the final text, the seniors coming out first. So, this is Michelle, she's my assistant, she manages a lot of my life. This is Martin. Martin does all of our social media for D3 and the church, and he does marketing strategies. So, anybody? Okay. So make sure we know how to get you that content, because these principles are different depending on what city.
My name is James Anike, and I pastor Scott United Methodist Church. Also host
You didn't sound like a Methodist on the radio.
Check that out. And a lot of Methodists don't think I sound like I also host a radio program called Soul Generation Radio on WTLC 1310 AM.
And thank you for what you did to help this event. Where's Searcy?
He's on his way. He had a funeral.
Oh, all right.
And he's with the family, but he's on his way.
All right, good.
And I should mention, I was the deputy director, national deputy director of Sheriff Washington for 2 years at Pushing Sail. So I had the privilege of working with Reverend Jackson.
Yeah, I wish I had time to tell you how Pushing Sail started.
Check that out.
But God bless Jesse. Who did you report to?
I reported to Reverend Barrett.
Willie Barrett?
Reverend Barrett.
Did you know Tyrone died?
Yeah,
Tyrone died. I just heard. Yeah, it's good. Good to know all of that.
But I need to say this, I've been in debt for a little bit more than 30 years, since college credit cards. And since D3, I've been working with them for the last 2 years. This is the first time in 30 years I can see my way out.
My Lord.
So that's why this is exciting to me, and that's why I'm doing all I can to help the students.
Jeffrey, one of the things around this piece, the thing that has helped our church the most has not been the book, so my own congregation. And it has not been the classes. I stopped by a D3 class in my church a couple months ago. There were 2 people sitting up there. It has been the testimony. Mr. Jones gets up on 4th Sunday. Ms. Jones says, I paid off 13 credit cards. And Ms. Smith sitting over there saying, well, my Lord, she was like the most powerful tool that we use tactically is the testimony, because when one person hears it, 3 people believe it. That's how church got started. Look, it's really, this is Pentecost Sunday coming up. We wouldn't be here were it not for effective word of mouth. There wasn't no Bible. There was no choir. I got, when we moved in our new church, I sat the choir down. We bought $45,000 worth of choir robes, and they thought people were coming to see and hear them. So the second year we went in our $23 million church, I sat the choir down. We had no choir. The choir director left the church.
Confirmation. Yeah.
And the church grew. And then last year I sat down again.
I can leave now. I got it.
Because, if we get too far away from the scripture,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we will think that tactics grow the church. No, it's not. It's testimonies that grow the church.
Absolutely.
When it's in John chapter 9, that's my next book, the next level. He said, look, I woke up this morning, I was blind, couldn't see anything. And now I can see my dinner. So that's all I know about Jesus, and that's all I need to know. So the key to changing the culture around this is the testimony. Testimony. It just liberates us. So that 30 years, that's a testimony. Ain't nobody argue with you about that.
Ron Covington, pastor of Friendship, going on 22 years, celebrating our 100-year anniversary.
When?
Next month.
This year?
We will be in July next month.
100 years, man. You got to celebrate more than one day. 100, you celebrate all year long.
And we are, really talking about, we are 100 years, church that's been just bathed in tradition.
Right.
And to come out of that tradition, it hasn't been easy, but we've progressed a great deal in my estimation. But I'm here to learn. I've heard so much about this from Earl and some other pastors, and so I'm really to be educated. And basically, we have resources, but so I can learn what to do with the resources that God has blessed our church with.
You say resources, you mean money?
We got a 46 school, we built a school building, we have a boys club that we rehab, but we're not really, in my estimation, maximizing what God has put into our hands.
Yeah.
And to learn and to get all of us out of debt.
Yeah, I learned this from, y'all know Bishop Delano Ellis, big Pentecostal bishop in Cleveland, not Cleveland, Cleveland. He's the head of the College of African American Pentecostal Bishops. All the Baptists that are trying to become legitimate bishops try to get authenticated by him. And his church has gone from about 3,000 to 300. Now he's struggling. And I told him I learned from Walt Disney. When Walt Disney was 72 years old, when the Walt Disney Company was 72 years old, they printed up all of this stationery, letterhead, and branding around their 75th anniversary. And the Walt Disney Company started celebrating their 75th anniversary in the 72nd year. Wow. Bishop Ellis's church is 82, and what I'm trying to help them see is to start to launch, but they need a capital campaign. And what we're helping them do is to shape their capital campaign around their 85th anniversary and use their immediate need as the launch. See, it's Romans, we're transformed by the renewing of our minds.
Right.
So, this year we celebrate our 80th anniversary. Every week we celebrate. But now we ain't having Sunday afternoon programs and choirs and chicken. Just an anniversary moment every Sunday, giving recognition to various ministries. Wow. Because it is, in the one sense, it's an anniversary celebration, but in another sense, it's really a prolonged funeral because we are literally burying some of the things we're celebrating this year.
Right.
So by our 81st anniversary, by the time we get to 81, we would say goodbye. During the 80th year, we're saying goodbye to all those dysfunctional, old-fashioned, think they in charge of the church stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a celebration and a funeral. That's what a funeral is. A funeral is a celebration too.
Yeah.
But you don't bring the casket home. You take the casket. That's what a funeral is. And the more lively the worship at the funeral, well, that's a great funeral. But the dead folk are still dead. Bury them and move on. So, I'd like you to get more juice out of this 100th anniversary than a traditional one Sunday afternoon, take up one offering from the church, one offering from the street. You got the rest of the year, because you're 100 all year long.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, I can't make it that Sunday, Doc. Give me another. We going all year. Give me another Sunday. All right. Thank you, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, I got you. What church is that?
Friendship.
You've been there 22 years.
22 years. Next Sunday I celebrate.
How long you plan to stay?
Probably next, I would say 7 more. 7 more years.
Okay. Good. Yes, sir.
My name is Pastor Robert Lasker, pastor of Mount Horeb Missionary Baptist Church.
Mount what?
Mount Horeb.
Or H-O-R-E-B.
B,
I got it.
which is, we just celebrated 92 years
My Lord.
last month before last. And D-Free, I came, Pastor Webster introduced me to D-Free 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I came down to New Jersey, and literally it blew my mind what I've learned. And to make a long story short, I implemented it. I am now debt free.
Lord.
older churches. My oldest living member is 88, and she's been there 58 years, 58, maybe 58, 59 years.
Is that right?
She has 62 grandchildren. And so basically, my family.
That's the church.
Are they all in your church?
Most of them.
That's the church.
And I'm struggling with not only changing the church culture, I'm struggling with changing the family culture.
Yeah.
And
Sure you are.
yeah, my issue is, and it's like she's E.F. Hutton. If she'd have said,
Oh, yeah. I got it.
if she'd have said for every one of them to be here D-free, they'd have been here D-free. But, so what I'm here to, I want to get out this seat, is how do, I got quite a few members of it, how do I infiltrate that? Because since that's the bulk of my church, how do I infiltrate that?
She's 88.
She's 88.
She's active.
Very active. Don't mess with me.
What's she in charge of?
Nothing.
Formal.
Nothing.
Well, see, that means she's in charge of everything informal. She ain't in charge of nothing formal.
Yeah.
She's in charge of everything.
Yeah.
In fact, you got to put her in charge of something formal.
Yeah.
So you got to harness all of that influence and locate it somewhere. Otherwise, she'll be there longer than you. Dead sister. We got to come up with something for her to be. Formally. See, if this was Ghana, they call her the Queen Mother. You can't become a king of a tribe in Ghana without permission of the Queen Mother. When the king appears, the Queen Mother is by his side. His wife is way behind him. All of his wives. Queen Mother, she's the Queen Mother. Both culturally and biologically. So we got to find a nice position and title. I'd give an office. But you got to harness. If you don't harness that, then she's in charge of everything. You're the assistant pastor.
I like that.
You're the assistant pastor. You got to come up with a title. How old is your church?
93 years old.
Make it a chairman of the 95th anniversary committee. You got it. You got it. I'll help you. Yeah, you got to harness that. Otherwise, she's just running around like a wild horse without what you call them things, corral. You got to get a corral for her. Like Mary Barnes, you know Mary Barnes. Mary Barnes, I got a woman in my church, Alabama, 92.
Okay.
I came to church one Sunday morning. She had on an apron for the kitchen. She had on a dress for the nurses. She had on a reflector for the parking. And she had something. She was. And she was the head of pastor's aide. This woman ran the church. Wow. I put in charge of the senior fellowship ministry. All the old people were coming on too. She's in charge of them. Menu and trips and all. Y'all just be old. You're in charge. Yeah, you got to build a corral. But all those grandchildren do. What size membership do you have?
If they all active, you're probably...
No. They ain't all ever going to be active. What's your actual membership?
You're probably about 75.
People? And she got 62. I give her my office. Lord, help us. All right. Mount Horeb. You need to go from Mount Horeb to Mount Moriah. anything like this before in my life.
Terry Reynolds, pastor of New Garfield. I've been there 19 years. Church is 132. August.
Nick Rose did some churching up in here, right?
They did some
Where they come from? Where the people from Indianapolis come from? Mississippi?
Yes,
South.
Three.
My church is
And the six. And
I
fifty.
said the primary ones for my church are Kentucky.
Kentucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's only about 3 hours south, right?
Right. Not that far, depends.
Wow. What's the name of the church?
New Garfield.
Okay. How can the next hour, we finish at 6, right?
I can guarantee you.
Whatever, what you done, it's your thing.
It's his church, so he can say that. Yeah, how can the next hour?
Well, I have to say, really, there's nothing I don't need, but I guess the most impressive thing
Another church.
at this moment, two pressing things. One, we already have had some property donated to the church
Mm-hmm.
that we haven't been able to generate anybody to really take some oversight of it.
Is it near the church?
Yes, it's a few blocks
The
away.
vacant land?
Well, both vacant and one with an older structure or a building that used to be a retail building.
Is it occupied?
No, it's pretty much a junk.
Is it tax exempt?
It is for right now.
All right. Okay.
And the other thing is we're in an area that's steadily decreasing in numbers. In a pretty depressed area. Little pocket, really just a little pocket of African Americans surrounding.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So that's steadily decreasing.
I'm Minister Janet Reed, and I have a ministry called Blood Covenant Sisters International Ministry. So I do women's conferences every year, annually. I am here to master.
Where do you do them? Here? All over? Yeah.
This is my 4th year, so I'll be doing it here. But I want to master my mindset on money matters. I was led by God to start becoming debt-free this year, and I am determined by the end of the year that I will be. So I'm halfway through
Yeah,
the
good.
credit card issues and not having those. But I want to be able to monopolize on how to grow the money in the ministry so that I can be more effective in the community as well as internationally.
Yeah. You know, I used to think, when I started out, I used to think that being broke was being noble. I thought I was broke because I was righteous. You know what I mean? And it was righteous to be broke. And I realized later on that when you're broke, you're just broke. You ain't gonna hold it up. You're just broke. And I made a commitment. I said, God, I will do anything you ask me to do as long as I got the money first. Because there's this perverted doctrine of faith that says, you know, you go out on a limb and God will provide. I believe God will provide, but it's easier for God to provide when you don't have to do everything. And balance out. So I'll talk about this balance between, I guess the extremes would be just carnality and foolishness. You know, that foolishness that's wrapped up in spirituality. And carnality that's made to look holy. Because you just can't do it without money. You know, you just, and that's a part. I mean, if you read the book, part of what drove me to this ministry in depth was our mortgage was $135,000 a month. I never owed anybody that kind of money. Every month, our utility bill was $35,000 a month, and our legal expenses, because you know, the devil got a hit squad that focuses exclusively on churches that are building. They hit me hard. We had 14 lawsuits. So our legal bill was $20,000 a month. So $195,000 a month came out of our treasury before we bought communion sets. And Floyd, you know Floyd Flavor. Floyd, you know, was my advisor at that time. Floyd's mortgage was $175,000 a month. I thought he was out of his mind. When I was just getting started, I said, man, I'll never owe $175,000. Little did I know, $195,000. So of course, we couldn't build any houses in Haiti. We couldn't give away the kind of scholarships we wanted to. I was telling our treasurer yesterday, before he got there, 1 month we had to take the benevolent fund to pay the mortgage. The deacons want to take me to court as if it was their money. You may distribute the money, but it's church money first. But they want to take me to court. And then 1 month I had to loan the church money to pay my salary. I had to give the church a loan so they could. Said I wasn't going to let them miss. That's a bad habit to start.
Yeah.
Don't miss payday here. I'll lend you some money, but you're going to pay me back and pay me. Yeah. The chairman of the trustee board of our church and I had to give the church a loan to make payroll. And when you had that kind of stress, you ain't trying to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, house the homeless. You're just trying to keep the lights on so when folk come to church Sunday, you're not embarrassed. So that's why I've had to, at the risk of sounding more like a banker than a preacher, I've had to really zoom in and focus on this money issue because we have burdens without strategies. All across the country, we got burdens without strategy. And if you have a burden without a strategy, what that's called suicide. You're committing suicide. It's an elongated form of suicide. So I got a strategy for everything in this realm because I promise you, it is absolutely no fun. When I was 26 years old, I woke up one night and my leg was so swollen that when I went to the doctor, the nurse thought I had a pad on beneath my leg, my pants. And then my other leg swelled up. I had surgery. It was rheumatoid arthritis induced by stress. 26 years old. And the doctor said, you will be crippled by the time you're 30. There's nothing I can do for you. Of course, there's another doctor. So I'm well past 30. No, all right. But I mean, stress, financial stress is a lethal killer.
Absolutely.
So they talk about stress, but they don't talk about causes stress. What causes stress is when you've got to serve and you're broke, and you got to smile and you're broken, and you're helping other folk get jobs. If you're involved in social justice, you're helping black contractors get big contracts. You're going to things with the doctors and the lawyers, and you're broke. Then you got to get up on Sunday morning and lie, talking about the joy of the Lord is your strength. You need money.
Oh, man. Yeah.
You can't keep joy forever broke. I don't care how deep you are, how thick your Bible is, how much oil you throw on your head. If you're broke, you're not going to have joy too long. You get some intermittent joy, the choir sings a great song, you hear a great sermon, you get a little dose of joy, but you don't have any ongoing joy, broke.
Yes, sir.
You just don't. And you can lie about it, get up there and holler and cry, but deep down inside, and your wife will remind you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And your kids will remind you. That ain't joy. So, and see, the problem with people like you put the ministry first. You mess around and you'll have an event coming up, and, guaranteed on your personal credit card, and registration don't come in, and you got so little money you do have, you pour right into the ministry.
Right.
And blame it on the Holy Ghost. And be broke.
Wow.
I used to do that.
Wow.
I met Dow, what year was Dow? About 2011, right after CNN, right?
Right.
And I came out here and I met Dow, and I told the Lord, I said, now Lord, if people like Dow keep calling me, I'll help them if you give me some money. You give me some money. And the reason I don't charge for speaking, the reason I don't need any help, because the Lord got me some money.
Yes, sir.
And I do what I have the money to do.
Yes.
And if I don't have the money, I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now the money didn't come out of the sky. I had to show up. I had to present. I had to put together a plan and a strategy. And I had to create some win-win relationships.
Absolutely right.
But I cast a check. And I don't even raise money anymore. I don't raise money. I spend money. I don't raise money.
All right.
So God bless you for that passion and vision, and hopefully we can help in some way, either today or after today.
Hi, I'm Dee Dee Gray. I'm a member here at Eastern Star.
I saw you when I came here, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes, sir. And I've been here since 2000 and served here at the main campus of 2 of our church plants. Two reasons that strike me to be a part of what I would like to do in this session is one, professionally, I'm a part of AFRT and the like, so Radio 1. And I serve as an account manager and support for the ministries that come on air. And one of the desires of our company, our market, is to continue to strengthen our community collaborations with the churches. And so I would like to learn how to create opportunities such as this to be able to present it to the churches that are not here, and for the pastors and the churches that are our partners, to then be able to have a community impact that comes from the information and implemented as such as information that you share through D3.
Yeah.
So that's on the professional side. And then personally for myself, the last time you saw me, I spoke about my son. He's since graduated.
Thank God.
Yes, thank you. Yes. So now I'm entering, as I shared, in a different age and stage in my life. And I'm appreciative of being a part of a ministry that finds us to be important. So I've been a part of Christian finance classes since my 20s when I joined here, and that's helped me tremendously. And so now it's managing student loans and things like that, but then how to move from here at this age and stage to build wealth. And not just manage that or just continue to be a good steward, but then in return be able to be a model and help other single parents and young adults.
Yeah, we're talking to Radio 1. I've been talking to Radio. In fact, I spoke on the Gospel Cruise, the Radio 1 Gospel Cruise, three years ago, I think. And, I'm trying to understand radio. I'm old, so radio has changed so much. I'm not sure I did. So if you called me in Jersey, I'm not sure I'd call you back. I mean, I'm just telling you.
Yes,
I mean, because the days of paying $200 for half an hour to holler on the radio at 6 o'clock Sunday morning is no longer viable for me. When I can spend $100 a month, speak to 200,000 people online. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And I can target my message on Facebook to any zip code I want, demographic. So
all of that.
I would need to understand the benefits of radio vis-a-vis current technologies. 2/3 of the people that stream our services do so on a mobile device. They listen to radio. And the kids who are listening to the radio are listening to, Rollin' on hip-hop, FL, So I want to understand radio. That's good. You're a pastor. You said something, though. These fellas, you'll hear pastors say, we're doing D3. D3 is a tool, okay? Pastor Johnson has a ministry set up already for finance, and D3 is one of the tools he uses, which is fine.
Right.
We're not trying to create mini Baptist convention or
Should.
No, we're just trying to create tools, and it's a turnkey kind of thing. And so for churches that just need the whole proposition and say, okay, D3 ministry.
Right.
But there are others all across the country that are using D3 tools within the context of larger ministry. Darryl has a boot camp, and he's taken some of the D3 principles and adapted it to address the needs of the men's boot camp. So we have no proprietary interest in identity or ownership. We're just trying to create tools that can be used by the church. You made me think of that, and I appreciate you modeling that because I'm trying to explain it to people. All right, good.
Before you move on, because this is your thing. You keep looking to us, and we keep looking to y'all. So, Michelle, they got all this food over here y'all told us to prepare.
Oh, really?
So, how do y'all want, because I didn't know how you were going to flow. Do you want us to
I didn't know it was
go over
food.
here one at a time?
It's always
Like,
appropriate to call us for food.
How do you want us to do this? Because
Is this real food or is this like introduction to?
I believe it is.
All right.
it's real.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we pray, get the food, and then we'll keep going.
Keep walking. Yeah,
All
there
right.
we go.
Lord, bless the food in Jesus' name. Amen.